game number one?
I'm going to go with the Bristle. I feel like it's an underrated hero. You get to late game, you get the talent where you're hitting for rapier amounts of damage. You put an alacrity on this guy, he's hitting for 600 a hit. It's not bad in the late game. Great lane matchup versus the Beastmaster. Now the thing is, you fall behind on a Bristle, you're useless. However, there's no breaks against him, no natural Silver Edge builders either. So I feel like it's a good Bristle game. It's a good last pick from Liquid.
Do you think it was one of those last picks where it just finally like clinched everything together? Because I look at that lane and it scares me. Because, you know, you've got so much slow, you've got a lot of negative armor. It just feels like, how do you play this lane? What's the best way for Team Secret to kind of deal with what they're going to be throwing at them?
Probably a lot of wave cutting shenanigans, a lot of pulling, essentially evading the lane. And, you know, the good thing is, in the off lane, there are plenty of ways to do that, rather than if you're in the safe lane and you're countered. The only benefit you really have of being a safe laner is that it starts in front of your tower, but you can't do the wave cutting like an off laner can. Let's see where the wards get placed. I'm always interested in the level 1 shenanigans, because teams are very much so experimenting with different sorts of styles here. Insania just holding 2 sentries and a ward. Puppey going for a full wraparound. Has the Hawk to scout.
That is something really important too, is the idea of having that vision, and that's something that Team Secret definitely is going to have a decent amount when you consider, you know, the Eye of Spirits, you've got the Hawks, Boars, everything coming out from the Beastmaster. So in that aspect, that should help quite a bit in trying to, you know, make sure that they have control of the map.
What in Gaben's name is Puppey up to here? He's going for the old snipe into tether out?
The battle
Maybe.
begins.
Okay. Ah, he gets it.
He's just gonna take it.
Yeah, all right. 3 runes, not bad.
Look at that. Look at that. You know, everyone forgets that Io is a strength hero, and this guy's got courage.
Yeah, tanky boy.
This is a Gryffindor style hero.
Oh, let's not get into the Harry Potter stuff. I'm a big Hufflepuff fan.
Yeah, you would definitely be a Hufflepuff.
I believe that's where Puppey would reside as well. Zai started with Plasma Field on Razor, which is not the most common thing. Scream on Queen, that is a common thing these days.
Denied.
Everybody's just busy, you know, just farming up, hitting out. Again, there's not too much, you know, kill potential this early on. I say that as Yapster gets a miniature Ravage here in the top lane, but I mean, it's a Bristleback, it's a Wyvern. Like, maybe Insania gets perhaps maybe a little bit too aggressive out of place, but most likely not going to happen. And this bottom lane here, you can see that Foxy's just cutting the wave, pulling it over.
Sure, okay, now this makes sense why Zai started with the Plasma Field. They just use the double nuke on the first wave, push it in, and then grab the second. They don't want to play against the Io Luna and just have a totally standard fair lane. Because they know that they'd rather just have a 50-50 of pulling the creep wave and then play the lane when Razor has maybe level 2 in his static link.
Top lane fairly even going here between Ice and Matu. Nothing too wild, but again, it is going to become a little bit scary as we start to get more of these levels online. And Sania is a little forward here. Does have to be careful. The board slow doesn't feel very good, and already Wyvern is a bit of a slow hero right at the start.
So, okay, very nice play from Secret. So the reason that they bring Ice over here is just so that they can zone Insania, so Yapster can get the side pull off. Very nice. A spot lane, a little bit of a damage drain, but not much kill threat currently. Just really for last hitting there with that damage.
Yeah, again, we're seeing just a very calm start to the game. Everybody knows, you know, exactly what they need to be working towards. I don't think we'll see any real big rotations until we get any really nice action runes, or perhaps, you know, the Queen of Pain gets that level 6 and we see a bit of like an overcommittal or dive.
Dude, McKe's getting kind of slaughtered mid by Sumail. 6-3 to 11-7, and I wonder how many of those denies are range creep denies as he just gets another one.
That is definitely rough.
Yeah, that's, so, you know, historically a great matchup for Invoker, because you have the Quas Orbs to give you regen, so the Queen of Pain harass just is nullified, but...
I mean, this is Sumail we're talking about, right?
It's Sumail.
What was it? It was last night they were asking Avery about, you know, what is he most excited for? You know, there was I think it was talking about sumail and being like the king of the north and blah 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 blah, and then like they shifted over to like Snake King or something, and they're just like also the king. You know, we use that term pretty.
We use that term
pretty
a lot.
liberally.
Yeah, lots of kings. Yeah, because we're all kings in the Dota 2 scene.
That's right, you are kings. Keep on slaying.
How's the CS going down here? Pretty even. Yeah, pretty even. Between both. You know, that's the thing with an IO lane, is that it's always going to be relatively even. The hero just regens no matter what. I don't think there's a better hero currently in Dota for playing the harass and regen game, so... You know, not getting a lot of kills with an IO lane, but you're definitely always going to go 50-50 at least.
But this is also like very much the kind of lane that, you know, you can't ever leave a Luna anyway, so you might as well pick something that's going to be able to do that massive amounts of regen and sustain. Because generally you don't want to walk away and then she becomes just way too vulnerable, unless you have a situation where she can go off, take some of those stacks, right?
Yep.
A little bit of that slow coming into play here, so they've got plenty of these bristles, but a nicely timed stun here from Yapster, going to make sure that Ice will stay healthy. He'll throw out the salve on top of that, so Ice will be able to just remain in the lane, but is getting a little scary there.
You know, Bristle is one of the lower win rate heroes for pro level pubs in the last few months. I'll hold that thought.
A little bit of play here coming out against Nisha.
Yeah, once again, just harass. I think Puppey just
he's fine. Just tethers away.
Easily tethers out. I think a reason Bristle might not be seeing so much play is because every offlaner is getting a Helm of Iron Will, which has regen and armor. The two things that beat this physical quill damage over time is, you know, armor and then HP regen over time.
Bottom lane, Boxy sitting very, very low. They have the overcharge. Nisha, it's going to be Puppey who gets that first blood.
Yeah, this is how Luna IO likes to win lanes. They just slowly out-regen you. You know, you try, you take good trades on them, but eventually you run out of regen. If you're not constantly ferrying it out, then you end up dying to just the aura and right clicks, basically.
Yeah, that is tough because that's not really an off lane that has any sort of sustained regen that's coming in either, so.
No, other than Nyx's like base regen, there's nothing... Nothing
else to like build it up. But Insania, we talked about this. Had to be careful. Does have the cold embrace though. So Matu coming into play here is going to try to just get rid of this board. But look at the way that Secret is playing. Look at the way they wrap around. There should be a kill here for Ice. So we talked about, you know, the positioning being a very difficult thing for Wyvern, especially when you have the slows and the disables. Not surprising that, unfortunately, he falls here.
Once again, just seeing the strength of having the Helm of Iron Will on Beastmaster, Ice, even though he's in a lane that should absolutely not be in his favor, at least historically speaking against Bristle, he's doing fine. He's chilling. Like, he can cut waves. He can basically do whatever he wants because he's going to be full HP at all times due to this item being just super good.
Bottom lane, a little bit more harass coming out, but just again, continuing just to harass, trying to use it for CS. It's pretty difficult for them to push Nisha out of this lane unless they have some sort of a rotation, perhaps, but for now, they're just going to continue to hit. And has anybody been making stacks? Looks like Lion is moving his way over there, but it doesn't look like that's to be the case yet. Got the one going. He's going to go and harass a little bit over here on Insania.
Oh, nice.
Ugh.
He's actually using the board to deny Insania any stacks and scouting in the jungle. That's awesome. I mean,
it's next level.
Yeah, I mean, Ice is the player that does this, right? It's like he's always sending boars and treants to like block ancient spawns and different things like that. So it doesn't surprise me that he's the one doing this.
It's also got that ward in place too, so he can keep tabs on any other stacks that are being created, and he can, you know, make.
Look what he's doing.
Over.
This is so cool. God, I love watching him play micro heroes because he's just so annoying with it. He's slowing him all the way to mid lane.
Idiot. Now he's just gonna click on the tower.
Come on, man. Give him a break. You know, you're not gonna use the boar in lane, right? So it makes sense. Why not send it to go do something else? You could even stack with it.
I mean, I would say that he's getting a lot of value for these boars, considering they're not necessarily what he wants to be using.
Yeah, ideally you're using it to own the lane.
Right.
If you can't, you may as well use it for this.
Agreed.
It's a really cool idea.
How close are we getting? So we've got a level 7 now over on the Queen of Pain, over in that mid lane, level 7 on Invoker, but we haven't seen any big rotations yet, as you do see Yapsor kind of making his way over and around here. Got the boots. Try to get into position for this rune. Throw out a stun. It's an arcane, but follow-up here coming out from M1CKe. Will avoid any sort of altercations for the time being. Matu in the top lane. Trying to interrupt a little bit here. Get some of these creeps back for himself.
Zai is super happy if the lane comes back like this, because I feel like Io Luna is the type of lane that, man, once they get a lead like this, it feels impossible to go there. She's just completely free farming. Sumail also opting to go for more of a farming build, maxing out his Scream. He doesn't go for the ult. He's just like, nah, we're free farming in all lanes. Why not just play for farm?
I like how Yapsu just comes running, barreling through the middle lane here. They do have a ward up though, so they spotted him, but they also have M1CKe in place. They figure they're probably going to try to make something happen, including Boxy now joining in this mid lane. They figure something's got to be up. They're spending a lot of time over here. It's a nice little stun from Yapsu. You can steal some of that, but even going and popping that spike. Carapace, just in case they get a little too cheeky. The Sunstrike coming in, but you have an Isle that's going to be able to keep you alive. So follow-up here from Sumail. Wants to get a couple clicks off over onto Boxy.
He has ult mana if he wanted to use his magic wand, but he just decides that it's not worth using it. Presumably because they think it's important to use that for a fight fairly soon. It's like if they use that, all of a sudden you have this Io and Luna that are farming, you have this Beastmaster that's farming, and you don't have any hero that can be active. If he keeps the ult, he can stay active.
Yapsu has been so annoying in this middle lane. He just keeps running through, throws out a couple of hits, perhaps, you know, get some of the mana. Bottom lane though, Zai. He's gonna get stunned with the Lucent Beam. He's gonna just steal a little bit of Nisha's damage, but easily broken with that tether.
To their bottom tower.
That's the end of that, as Ice is set up just here in the jungle with his little zoo. He's gonna make their way over. They see M1CKe. Get a couple of these clicks off, plus the slow. Be a kill for Yapsu. And Ice though will have to teleport out, and that of course is one of the downsides to playing this Bristleback. There is no way to stun this early in the game, not until you get an item or so.
I love Ice's response to Bristleback. He's just not dealing with it. Like it's funny that that's a thing that sounds so like crazy to do in Dota, because everybody has these concepts of like, oh, this is my lane, I need to farm here. Like if you don't want to lane against something, just don't. He just leaves. He just goes mid, walks the mid, takes the jungle. So he's doing things that are effective in not allowing himself to be countered by the hero. And I'm curious if he stays up here when Bristle runs back up top. Oh, they're rotating. Okay, I see.
It's a big rotation.
So they're baiting the Bristle into top, and they're looking to make a play onto him with the ult that Sumail saved earlier.
Dire's top tower is in danger.
Now keeping forward. Let's see Matu over here on the side. They'll ping that.
Radiant's bottom tower
occasionally.
is in danger.
Throw out a dagger, throw out a nice earth spike, steal a little bit of that mana, but Boxy also here, so expecting that they're trying to make some sort of a play, realizing that, you know, they have not seen this Queen of Pain in a little bit. So they'll get themselves into position, but this is more space here for Nisha. Nisha's just being allowed to hit any and all creeps, and is currently sitting at the top of the net worth.
M1CKe on the flip side, he's also farming. Zai gets his little bit of creep cut bot. Not much Nisha can really do about it. So great read from Liquid, knowing that that play was going to happen. If a Beastmaster is going to run into a lane like that, you know that he's already been avoiding the Bristleback. It's a pretty solid read to be like, okay, he's going to have people behind him this time.
Feels like a lot of cat and mouse. Man, M1CKe has to be so careful. The damage coming out from these creeps really ticking away on his health.
That's a ton of gold, though, for Matumba, and especially the XP that those boars give. Like, he is loving life right now, killing massive amounts of summons. That's the dream for Bristleback.
Nice will grab himself a centaur. And Yapsu, I love these wards. I love the wards that are coming out here. They're really keeping tabs on any sort of activity moving around in the jungle, any stacks that can be created.
Yeah, Yapsu is being really annoying. He's understanding that there's not that much in the way of TP cancel from Liquid. And so he's just like, yeah, I can just stun them and walk away anyway. So I'm going to sit in their jungle and be annoying.
We talk about how much gold you get off of some of these summons, but there's a little bit of a stun. It felt like for half a second, Sumail wanted to go in, but decides, nah, not worth it right now.
Well-gotten gains.
Kind of just a farm fest on both sides. Like, they're both just comfortable with the wall that they're putting up and the amount of farm that they're getting. Because one side has, you know, Io Luna. They're countered on the Beastmaster. Oh, never mind.
Have to just throw out a thingy here, but they'll have the teleport in, the Hex, and the follow-up from Sumail. So will go over to Yapster, the original instigator, but with a little help from some friends.
And that is precisely why Yapstar has been running around on his own, looking like a chicken with his head cut off, because he's not alone. He's got an Iona Luna to relocate in. He's got a Queen of Pain who can jump in as well. So he looks like he's on his own, but really he's quite a bit of a kill threat just by, you know, walking around and setting up like that.
All part of the plan. See again these creeps coming out here to try to bother with Matu.
Yeah, Ice is trying to scout the stacks, but he just kind of feeds a couple of creeps away to Bristol. I mean,
what can he really do with these, right? Like,
that's the counter.
It's mostly to get the information, try to mess with them a little bit. They do have really good wards placed over by Yapster. Like, look at that little line that he's got going on. They know everything happening on the
I mean, that's a lot of vision.
Tower is in danger.
Maybe a bit excessive.
Radiant's bottom tower is no more.
They really want to know what's going on. They want to see any sort of rotations.
The only question is, though, what happens if Liquid just moves into their triangle and then also your jungle? You have all this vision. I mean, it's better to have it than to not. I think one of these wards is probably expiring too, so.
I mean, is it one of those situations too where they've played each other enough or they've scrimmed enough that they know that there's a particular way that they like to play, or?
I know that with stacking heroes, people do really like the Dire jungle because you can get off like 3 stacks at once and you can farm 3 camps at once, especially with Razor and Bristleback. So it's just a side of the map type thing, I think.
It is interesting that there have not been any camps stacked over on the side of Liquid yet. And partially because of the fact that Ice, right? He was trying to mess with them.
Yeah, he's been super annoying with his boars, which is really impressive considering that you have Bristleback, who he's like one of the best heroes in the game at farming those early stacks. Like, the earlier the better. He can literally farm them at level 3.
But yeah, surprisingly very slow tempo to the start of this game.
Yeah, MCKe, man, look at this. Midas Boots of Travel. This is the sort of thing you get reported for in pubs. It's like, my Invoker's so greedy, but like I said earlier, both teams are super okay with the wall that they're putting up and the amount of farm that they're getting. They're just confident in their whatever mid to late game timing that they're going to play for.
Sania taking a lot of harass here from these creeps. Slice. Will collect a kill without being really that close to it at all, but he's going to back off now. They do have a ward, so they'll keep tabs on him as he walks away. It just feels like Secret keep finding these little random pickoffs. And they just continue to dodge, because like you said, you know, they're happy with farming. They realize they have a Luna, and a Luna with an IO is just going to explode with the amount of farm until she's ready to fight.
Exactly, and that the IO is the difference maker to me.
Okay, bit of a stun here on the Hex. Gonna be a follow-up though here from Matamba Man. But they don't have anything to cancel out. Oh, well, Buxy, no. Not gonna be there in time.
That's great if you're Secret. You force the Racer to TP top, so he has to walk everywhere that he's gonna go. You force the Bristle to TP bot. You're forcing these heroes that are just impossible to deal with in like a lane 1v1 scenario to TP somewhere, which means Ice now basically gets this top tower for free. Because now there are the 2 heroes that can counter him that cannot TP to him.
Buxy giving a little bit of information. Sees that courier. Decides not to go for it. There are 3 heroes in that area. But yeah, I mean, I think this is the most passive I think I've ever seen Sumail play in quite a while. Usually this guy is running around the map, but again, they have so much space and breathing room.
It does make sense though. When you're picking Beastmaster, you're playing for the vision, you're playing with your creep scouting. You know, you have this Lion who can set up on people. And then you have the Quap and then IO to relocate in whenever a fight actually starts, like this.
Like this, exactly. They'll find themselves a Razor, Nisha. All right, there's a Sonic Wave from Sumail.
To farming, just take a kill and reset.
And they'll take a couple of these stacks too on the way out. Feels real good if you're a Secret. Not feeling as good for Liquid because they're just dodging you every opportunity.
Now, the thing for Liquid is that they do have Invoker mid, excellent late game hero. They do have a Bristleback, good late game hero, especially if you put the Alacrity on him. But there's not much to set up for a Cataclysm, which is what makes Invoker so potent in the late game. And Bristleback definitely can get kited by this Secret lineup. And they're also getting out-farmed. So the pressure is on Liquid. They need to make a move. They need to do something that opens up the map so that they're farming more. Because It's not going so hot.
Not realizing that there is indeed a sentry ward here. They've already used the finger. Buxy turns back around, wants to maybe just... Oh, they do manage.
Okay.
Get with the Sunstrike, but Buxy will fall for it.
Not a bad little turnaround there. Get that Sunstrike kill for your middle laner.
He knew he was dead anyway, so he's like, I'm going to ensure that we get this.
Yeah, when he fingers himself, that's when you can kind of accept that it's like, okay, maybe I deserve to die for that one.
We do have the Agnum Scepter, though, completed now for this Bristleback, so there is going to be so much viscous nasal goo everywhere.
So the way this timing used to work with Bristle is you get the Ags, and you pretty much win the game. You show up to team fights, and you are this unkillable monster who is slowing everybody and hitting for rapier amounts of damage. It's been nerfed since then, so we'll see how good it is.
Hero Roar over onto Matu. Gonna start cleaning up, and it feels like they want to go in for some sort of play here. Liquid making their way over up to the side. Matu rejoining in. Let's get Tornado. Slow down. Nice impale here coming out from Boxy. Io coming in, trying to just keep this Luna alive. The reload was right over to the other side, so it's not looking good for Nisha as he just gets run down. Now Puppy and Yapsor being chased here by Big Bad Mato, and they're gonna just slow him down using a really nice Earth Spike, but they end up losing Boxy on the other side. 6 stacks of this goo. 7 now. Over onto Puppy. Look at this damage. They've hit an item timing. Matu's just running through the tree line, searching for Yapsor. They have the plasma field, and by God, they have the damage. So we talk about these item timings and how important they are. They definitely know it, as Yapsor's courier dies on top of that with his Blink Dagger.
Okay, it does indeed look like the Bristleback Aghanim Scepter is still quite good. Most of Team Secret just kind of run away from you when you go on them. It's really only Sumail who can get out once you are Viscous Nasal Good, and so he does end up getting a kill in the middle of that fight because he does get out. But these other heroes are getting just mega kited by Matumba. This is a huge timing for them still. I mean,
look at the heroes that they're bringing over here because they want to try to punish this one. You can see Insania dancing on the outsides. If they commit too hard, if they group up, there's definitely going to be a Winter's Curse. Foxy spying out Ice here, keeping tabs.
Don't mind if
Got Zai making his way over. Open up the Vendetta, nice and pale. Sunstrike coming in as well, and it's a dead Ice. They'll continue farming up these Ancients.
Classic psychopath Ice play, just farming their triangle completely alone.
A big jump though over here on the mid lane, but a good Tornado EMP coming out from M1CKe, buying a bit more time as Io is going to relocate, get Yapsor out of there in a hurry. And it's only a little bit of a reload, but it's enough to make them back off. They just want the tower.
This does anchor the fight here, though, to the relocate. Okay, Liquid's not going to look to go back in. I was going to say, if you anchor a fight somewhere, like Bristleback is so happy with that, right? You just get a bunch of stacks of your sticky viscous nasal goo if you stand in one location for too long. But now they don't commit. They're like, we got the tower. We're happy with that. We've been, behind in the tower advantage up until this point, so let's just take the lead, farm with it just a little bit.
Yeah, and they've got some stacks going on here too, so Matu is very, very happy here. Working towards that Eternal Shroud.
One thing that we've seen with Liquid so far is being shown in this game, and it's that they are really good at taking the right sort of engagement once they hit a timing, even if they're far behind. There's been so many games that we've seen them just take the right, like, wraparound smoke, hit the right target with the initiation, and here they go again.
Oh, Yapsor trailing behind a little bit, but they've already gotten over to tower. Zai gets the roar here from Ice. The follow-up, though, they have the Cold Embrace to keep them alive. Nice little stun coming out. It's not quite enough to blow up Ice. As Puppy joining back in. Big Sonic Wave comes out. The Foxy will fall, but the rest of the team, they use their BKBs. Yapsor following up. This is very difficult to take down this Bristleback. They'll drop that EMP. They're gonna try to get this escape. Sumail jumps forward though with the scream. They've got the silence, but Matu again, he just walks away as the rest of the team. It felt like a whole lot of something for nothing here.
The biggest problem for Liquid there is that Matu is out of mana. That's it. He really needs the Eternal Shroud. Is he going for it? No, he's going for straight BKB after Cloak. So the mana drain's actually a problem in this game. And I mean, a lot of the time with Lion, this is his most useful skill.
Illusion.
I'm wondering, how much did he drain from Matu in that fight with the mana drain? Because it seemed like he was completely out of mana on Bristle.
Don't mind if I do.
He just walked in
It's
like
just
half.
Yeah, there it is. There's the.
I mean, it is quite a.
It does,
I mean,
yeah, it does a bit, but
half
he's also
the-
was spamming his spells on top of that too. So
still, you know, 40% to 0. It's
true.
pretty important.
Lane, Yapster, relocate the finger. They'll kill Boxy. Zai draining a bunch of his damage if possible, but he ticks down. Even with that BKB, it doesn't even matter. Good Witcher's Curse coming up from M1CKe will ensure that puppy cannot survive. As Sumail getting stunned. They need to have some way to go and lock him down into place, though. It does not have that TP, though, and it's looking like a dead Sumail.
Yeah, he tried to insta-TP, but he still had the Arctic Burn on him, which was, of course, proccing the Cold Snap. Even clearing up the Ancient, too. 250 gold. Lots of money. Matu's getting troublesome to deal with, and once he gets the BKB, that's going to be another huge timing, because it means that it's a lot harder to kite him. He basically has to be roared.
The Alacrity online here for Matu. They've got plenty of negative armor. They're just going to take down this Roshan as fast as possible. You can see, though, some movement coming in here. Nice dive bomb here from Ice, just trying to interrupt a little bit. It's sitting very, very low. Going for the EMP. Nisha trying to find the opening. Throw in the creep to take a look, and they finish up again here. Use, oh, he was looking for that deafening blast, but it's still going to be Matu who picks it up. And so grab themselves an Aegis. Using the roar again over onto Matu. He's facing them, so not going to be able to turn around much of the damage. Matu, all right, Aegis is down. And now it looks like Boxy is going to be the next person to fall here as the BKB was popped here from Nisha, but they get a good heal. No, it's not going to be enough. Nisha hitting them with that nuke. And now the follow is on Matu, chasing after them with the EMP tornado. Good stun comes up, but Yapster does fall. See all these Moonglaives bouncing around. Another dive bomb again over onto Zai. Sumail going in with that Sonic Wave. Gets the kill on Zai, and the follow-up over onto Ice. But now Sumail, he's got a blink. Wait, he can't do it fast enough. He'll be the next one to go down here as Nisha getting sandwiched here between Mikke, Matu, and Insania. He's just trying to fight through, but he cannot do it as Puppy did not have the tether up, and he's got to just get the heck out.
I love seeing calls like that from teams. Team Secret identifying that, well, they did not quite identify it because they didn't win the fight, but they thought that, okay, they took the Aegis, but they used so much in getting that Aegis that we can still fight it. But the problem is, in order to kill Matu here, they have to use the Roar. And if they use the Roar on him, it means that Zai can just walk in, BKB'd, and he can drain Nisha for all of his damage. And then all of a sudden, Sumail is the only damage dealer on the side of Secret. And he currently just dies to Invoker spells because he doesn't have his BKB. So here, it's like, yeah, Yapsor goes down. Nisha's on the high ground. He's got no damage, so he's like, what the hell am I supposed to do here?
Your ignorance ensures
Amazing
your
curse.
demise.
Sumail, once again, only damage dealer, so he turns, you know, turns and does damage to his own team with the curse, and then he just dies to the Invoker spell. Doesn't have his BKB yet. He wants for that M1CKe.
Yeah, the positioning coming out of Liquid is just very, very
Don't mind
nice,
if
for lack of a
I
better
don't.
term. Like you said, you know, it felt like every time that Nisha tries to go in with this Eclipse, it just doesn't do anything because they have those early BKBs because they're so far spread out. And then, of course, like you said, the Winter's Curse coming out from Insania because he's been playing so far back. And they do have quite a few mobility items. So on top of that, you've got the Blink Dagger and Winter Wyvern. That's always an issue, right? When you have someone who's like, you know, the Bristleback or the Razor, who's naturally very, very fast over time. And then you also have the Blink Dagger over on Invoker. So you have multiple ways of repositioning yourself in these fights, whereas it's a little bit more difficult for Secret. You do have a Blink built in with your Queen of Pain. You've got, you know, Lion with a Blink, but he's fairly squishy. And there is no, did they have a Blink yet? I don't think they do yet. No, they don't have the Blink on the Beastmaster. So they're kind of anchored in spots where, you know, Matu's more than
All right, Matu is so stoked for people to be anchored. Also stoked to be slamming on this high ground.
I mean, yeah.
Look at the damage this hero does. And when you get to the talent, it's so much more, too.
9 stacks of Warcraft, man. All right, they'll take down the tower. They'll do a little bit of draining here over onto Matu's mana. Captain running away from these Forge Spirits. They do have some pressure being placed over on the top tier 2, using some of the illusions, using the Overlord creep. But they have to force Liquid out here. Mikke looking for the opportunity. We'll just throw down an EMP. He wants to make sure that they can remove some of that mana again.
Insania's got a shard now, too, so he can just constantly chain his Cold Embrace on Matumba. And it makes it so that they maybe don't have to back off here.
Plus you've got the Cold Embrace, which again, it's another slow. It's more damage that's going to make them very difficult to just run away.
Oh, they actually cut ice.
Oh, they fight. Okay, they go for the roar, but they immediately teleport in. Now Nisha's here. He's got the BKB, so be able to go take down Box, but take out Ice as well as Zai just zipping around, trying to steal as much damage as possible. Winter's Curse still holding them into place. Is it going to be enough to go they can teleport out.
He's
And the
not
voice line's
happy
coming
about
out.
that. He's having a. That's rough. That's rough. So that's a sorry, boys. I fucked up face right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to ideally curse Puppy there, but it's weird because Nisha was getting his damage drained, right? So
Yeah.
if you curse Puppy, it's like you're just not. He's not doing any damage to Puppy, so you just shouldn't curse, which is a weird thing to want to do on Winter Wyvern. It's a spell. You want to use it.
Yeah. Matu, though, just throwing around all of this goo, keeping that stack of 9 going.
Gotten gains.
He's got some mega mana issues, though. He's
Yes.
got to get some mana boots on his boys. What do they have? Boxy up a pair. No. Insania. Nope. They're poverty mode. Tranquil boots.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Oh, interesting. He changed his idea from doing the Eternal Shroud on the bristle.
Yeah, he went for the
Yeah, yeah.
BKB, and I think it's just the hard out on the mana drain and all of the stuns and
Yeah.
all of the kiting. I think it makes sense. Once again, it forces the roar onto him, which means that Zai can go in, and we've seen how good it looks when Razor latches on to any of these IO carries. It feels so bad to have an IO supporting you and you just do no
Ooh.
damage.
Well, that's a fast way to make sure that your mana's not going to get drained. You remove Lion from the picture.
That'll do it. Yep, that'll do it. Does have buyback, though, so if there's any Rax play that happens here, he will have it. Perhaps forcing it is the play.
There's still some of those tier 2s up. Secret doing a good job, though. They're dodging about. They're making their way up through this dire jungle to ensure that, you know, they're doing the mirroring movements. They're going to be able to keep farming up on Nisha. We'll be able to go and take that outpost, too, so be a little bit safer. Boxy just like, oh, yeah, they've got some wards here, guys. Heads up on that.
And since the bot lane was so shoved out from Secret, which is what they're known for being very good at, constantly keeping lane shoved, it means that
Radiant's bottom
Lion will
barracks
be alive by the time this Rax backdoor turns off.
Nice. Also pushing in that top lane. Matu just running around. He's got so much damage. They'll take out Puppy. Puppy does have the buyback, but Ice doing a decent amount of damage. So it looks like Boxy is going to try to teleport away.
It's looking pretty good for Secret. Insania's in.
Oh, they're jumping in here. Oh, good lord. That is a dead Winter Wyvern. But they'll be able to get Ice after he was routing here in the top lane. And that dragon, it's been nerfed, but still does a lot of damage.
Damage.
Yeah, Ice is just being a thorn in the side of Liquid right now. They're like, man, why can't you just stop? We could take this Rax and be done with this already. But no, he knows that showing up to that fight is not going to be good for him. Bristol's just going to walk in and clear his summons. So once again, the best thing that he can do is to just clear creeps entirely elsewhere. You don't want to have a team that's clearly in some advantageous spot, and then all of a sudden they're trading 1-for-1, Rax for Rax. That's not what you like. And you can see it's just
Almost all of his deaths are on the enemy side of the map.
Yeah.
He's always active. He's
that one
always
right there in
pushing.
the triangle is so funny.
Yeah,
Like,
that one was
what?
just
scanning
There's
for
not
got
even
greedy. I don't know.
There wasn't even blue over there. That was just the one time. They're like, of course we're gonna kill you here.
Oh boy, this is that was weird. He was like glowing blue for a second. I wasn't sure if he had
What Tumble was? I know
Yeah.
there's
Conductor.
the Battle Pass phase boots.
Oh,
That's
must
a
have
nice
been
one.
that. Must have been it. Oh, what did I say?
But he's got tread, so I'm not
Nope, never mind. All right.
not sure.
I thought he had a double damage for half a second.
the Ags buff also makes you glow a little bit. Having
But
Ags.
Radiant's top
so this
tower
is big. This
under
item timing. Luna doesn't necessarily want to buy a Silver Edge usually, right? She's normally going
Yeah,
things
but-
like, you know, Mount a Butterfly. But this is very necessary.
Somebody needs one.
It is very necessary. So Insania is going to be the one who runs first. The
Radiant's
one
top
to
tower
pop any
has
smoke, get
fallen.
some of that vision. Does have the blink, of course, too, to set up. And they can see these Manta illusions just wandering through casually, so they have an idea of where this Luna is. Sumail over by the eye
Dire's
spot
bottom
here.
tower
Have to
is
use some
under
fast fingers as I creeps over. Just wants to check that pit. Smoke plate coming out here, though. Not yet fruitful for the side of Liquid.
Yeah, this is great ward camping from Secret.
Top tower
Ooh,
is
that's a Roche, though.
It has respawned. Liquid, I don't know if they read that maybe Secret would be there, or they're thinking, we're going to control your high ground because Roche is right here. So sure, mess around with our triangle. We don't care. Right? We're just going to go to your triangle. That's where Roche is. And that is the next objective for both teams.
I can see now that they're putting some pressure over on that tier 2. Matu walking into that pit. So we do have the brand new shiny Silver Edge on Luna. We have a sheep stick, though, on the
Dire's middle
Invoker.
tower is
That's
under
more
attack.
control. So it's going to be very important that they get the jump on you know, it's who initiates first, right? Oh, you can see that this courier's coming. They're gonna let him guide the way here. They make their way towards the area. This courier's a traitor, dude.
Yeah, he's also microing it in a way that's... It looked like it was going to him where he was like scouting ahead, but he was really just sending it to the side. I think he was trying not to get it killed. Ironically, ends up not getting his team killed as a result.
Does he know how close that could have been?
I don't know.
Everybody's
I don't know.
up on that side.
You'll see if he watches the replay. If they
They have a
lose,
sentry. They see Boxy.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
The Ops are jumping forward again. They drop another sentry. That has the follow up though here. They'll be able to take that Boxy and Yaps. Both of them going to 5 out immediately. They've got the roar up over onto the side. They want to get rid of this Razor. Stop. Nice save though. Crunch coming out from Luna though will be able to ensure that they get side. They've already taken down Zai. And there's a big stun as they finger take out. Matu though needs to be careful. He's got the Alacrity. Sumail jumping over onto the back lines. Wants his kill on M1CKe. M1CKe forced to ghost walk. So looking for this opening again to get the break off. Another heal here coming out from Insania. Again, Roche is up, but they are down. Several heroes on both sides.
still totally even trade from both teams. You have 3 dead, 2 buybacks used, 2 support deaths, both offlaner deaths. So weird fight. Oh, the stun!
The stun immediately with that tether, beautifully done here. As now they're gonna get their hands on this Luna. They've already used. Seems like, oh, good teleport away though. Is it gonna be far enough? Is the question. The force forwards are like, get out of here, Nisha. You gotta get out of here right now. Sumail just gonna have to blink away. And again, we're having a bit of those mana issues here on the Bristol.
Right now,
Puppy's gonna get left behind. That's about standard for an IO who teleports out to save their core, but
he does have buyback though, so that doesn't mean it's just a completely free Roche. Yeah, what a save from Puppy.
Yeah.
He blinks into the tether, which often results in the guy blinking into the tether dying, but with the sheep, with the fact that Luna has no BKB, it means that there's no turnaround potential, but Puppy with the save, beautiful save.
All right, Nisha working here. Working towards getting that Lincoln Sphere, not wanting to get locked down because of that sheep stick.
It's also Zai with the static link. I feel like that's been such a problem, is that he can't just turn and fight like he
There's
was
so many things that can pop that Lincoln's though. Like you're up against a Bristleback who's just
now when he's BKB
everywhere.
though.
True.
Now when
That is true.
He can BKB and then Lincoln's, and then the only thing is the Winter's Curse. You don't want to Winter's Curse the Luna, because it's going to be an IO hitting the Luna, which is pathetic.
Nice stun here over the back line. Follow up with the Tornado. They've already got themselves the Aegis, a big meatball coming into play. They put a little bit more damage. Just stuck over on the cliffside though. Not sure if Ice Ice meant to do that. Nisha goes in with the Eclipse. Has plenty of damage. Will take down Ice Ice that. And now they're following up here. Matu chasing after Puppy. Wants to make sure that there is no IO allowed. There's going to be the buyback though coming out from the IO. Sumail's chasing off to the side, but they still have vision here over onto Nisha. They're going to try to save him. Can they do it fast enough though? They get a stun off that has the EMP coming through. Couple clicks. Can they take that Puppy? They take that Puppy, and they're going to try to go to Nisha. But the roar coming forward and the sonic wave. But just enough time. Nisha's still alive. They want this kill. Can they get on him fast enough as they lose M1CKe? The silence, the slow. Sumail coming into play here. Ice trying to just do whatever he can to keep Matu off of these heroes, but he just keeps running at them. He's got so much damage. I can't believe that Nisha survived there.
Yeah, that amazing call from Puppy. The buyback into Fountain regen with the IO tether. It's one of those things where like you isolate Luna and you think, okay, surely he's dead. Everybody is dead. Luna doesn't have BKB. Luna has nothing. But the IO with the Fountain regen, it's like 300 HPS. It's more than like a Satanic at this point. So yeah, I mean, just amazing saves. And then his team also kiting afterwards so that Matumba can't get the final hit off.
There were so many, the fights.
There was a lot of levels to that.
It cracked open. That'd be a good one if we have a weatherman watching right now. You can break that one down. So much happening.
5 BKBs used. I'm pretty sure there was a refresher BKB as well. Just a lot. Just a lot.
Did they grab up the shard too? Yeah, shard went over onto Bristleback. So we have the hairball.
That's a good one. The hairball's good. 2 extra stacks. I mean, if that could have resulted in Luna going down in the last fight.
I mean, yeah, definitely. Ooh. The way that they just keep moving about here on the side of Secret. They're trying to find the right angle. Ice and Yapsor. They've taken up residency here in this bottom half of the map. While Liquid continues just combing through their own side, continuing to farm up. But they'll be able to put some pressure on the tower here.
It's little things like this that are so annoying. I don't know, I didn't see exactly how YapzOr and Ice got into the triangle there, but just like setting up a ward there for future plays and then cutting the creep wave, getting a little bit of tower damage. Also, you're taking camps that the enemy team feels like you can't take because they're behind enemy lines. It's little things like that that give you slight leads in the game, and maybe a huge lead if you can eventually smoke to a ward like that.
Tower is under attack.
Insania just playing within, you know, an arm's distance from Zai. He just wants to do the, you know, turnaround save. Blink ether lens, so he can be fairly far away, safe, but still close.
Some pressure being placed now. As we have Combo Man finishing up the Satanic. Pushing the tier 2 with the Zoo, but Matu just walks right into the space. Look at the damage this man is doing. It's just absolutely insane.
Plus 600 damage. That is 2 rapiers, basically.
Yeah, except you don't lose them when you die.
Yep, pretty scary. Spell Prism as well, oh god.
God.
I mean, arguably the mana regen component to that is better than the cooldown reduction on Bristleback. Yeah, you're stoked to have that item.
39 minutes in, a 3K net worth lead here for Liquid. But it still feels like it could go really any way with the way that both of these teams are playing.
Is a great conductor.
Liquid flying on the ward. Oh, did they deward it? Yeah, they got the deward. Okay. That could have been bad if they run back to this area and their Seeker still has the ward. Yeah, we get to the point in the game where essentially both teams play S5 unless there's a brief period where one hero splits off just to push a side lane. But generally,
like that's Ice generally, right?
It's yeah, Ice with the summons, maybe Luna with the IO relocate, that also helps. On the side of Liquid, it's probably McKe on Invoker just to blast a wave and then travels back in.
Right.
Because at this point, if you lose a single hero due to some pickoff because you're farming a side lane and you're not very quickly jumping and killing the creep waves, you can just instantly lose the game. So you just 5-man. 35 minutes plus in Dota, it's 5-man territory. This is where the kind of late game starts.
Look at the damage that Matu just does here against these buildings. It is absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, he does insane damage to everything. At this point, the name of the game is Kite Bristleback. And, you know, they've got Roar. Do they have double Roar yet? It has Ice. No, he's going for Octarine Core next. Okay, so he's going for a more long range on that Roar.
Well, they found Ice. Ice is not even out of his base. They just waltz on in. And go chasing after sumail here for a moment. He's going to pop his own BKB. Not a lot of mana left, though, over on this Bristleback. So he's going to just turn around, face the back here. Nisha trying to find this opening. He's got to get the break off, but they don't want to walk too far out of this space. And it really feels right now Secret are just hemmed in.
Amazing pickoff. Instantly, the Sentry Ward gets placed on the high ground because I think Boxy just walked up, saw Ice, and he got 2-shot by Bristle.
There's a gem getting picked up now from the beast.
Yeah, he's
They've
not having that
had
again.
enough of this nonsense. He should not be allowed to walk into our base, stun me, and then let Matu just hit me. Like, what the heck?
The Nyx Assassins that we've seen recently in the EU DPC have looked really good. It's looked like a really effective hero in the current meta. Lots of stuff that it counters, lots of stuff that it sets up for.
I definitely agree. I think a lot of OG playing it too. A little bit of a hairball toss over on Tanisha. Gets the break off. A follow-up from McKe, though. Will be able to go throughout the Tornado EMP. We'll throw another Lucent Beam to slow down Matu. He hasn't had mana in how long it feels like. Very, very low, but it doesn't seem to care because he's just allowed to standard Boxy. Oh no, the BKB coming out from Nisha. Now they take the building. There's gonna be a finger coming out. They'll get the kill. But now YapzOr also to fall. Nisha just chasing up their side. We buy back the BKB. They'll throw out those Chaos Meteors. They need to close the gap, but they can't do it because the IO in place. Being able to save. Do they get enough damage on the kill? Zai, good save though coming out from it. They did not quite enough. So they will end up losing the Razor. They did buy back on YapzOr. I'm gonna try to set these up, try to use this control. It's a little bit difficult here. They get a Winter's Curse off, but sumail over onto the back lines here with Poppy. They've got the Lucent Beam. Can they do enough damage over onto this Bristleback? They will. As the chase is on, McKe now forced to flee. And Secret carve their way out of their base.
It cost them the racks, but the frame-perfect BKB pressing from Nisha on that blink sets up that Boxy just instantly dies in the fight. And he's such a huge part of the Liquid disable that taking him out of the fight early is incredibly effective. Like I said, it does cost you a Rax, but the later and later you get into the game of Dota, like you get to 50 minutes, which is only 7 minutes away, all of a sudden Rax doesn't matter. Maybe Megas does, but either team can just run down mid and instantly end. You have a Luna, right? This hero will just tear through your base. You have a Bristleback on the other side. The hero's doing 800 damage a hit with an AC. Either team can just run down mid and end the game. So it's a lot more about buybacks and kills right now.
They're gonna try to stall as long as possible. That ice welcoming to play. Good stun again from Boxy. Just enough to stall for now. Yeah, Hex tossed out. They burned through a lot of this mana. Again, they still have Puppey though. Be able to continue to feed that regen. But it's enough to frighten them a little bit over on the side of Secret. So they'll make their way into the jungle, take over the outpost, and just allow Nisha to heal back up.
I feel like Insania has actually done a pretty good amount of damage in this game compared to like a typical Winter Wyvern game. Just because I'm seeing in every fight he's hitting multiple Splinter Blasts, and with the talent that he has for the 400 Splinter Blast radius, it's hitting like every hero. He's doing so much with it. And then of course you have the Cold Embrace that's also Splinter Blasting whenever it ends, because he's got the shard as well.
That's probably how he's managing, like the amount of saves that come out from him in every fight, right? The Cold Embraces, and then again, just using the Splinter Blast in general is just always so good because it's gonna slow everybody, but
wait a minute. Is that? Oh, that's healing done. Okay, I see. I thought that was damage on. So he's done more healing than an IO. Damage. I mean, for a Wyvern, that's not bad.
He sounded so dismissive. For a Wyvern.
Well, it's a Wyvern's. I mean, Wyvern's not a damage healing hero. Well, not in a support position, at least.
Not in a support. Like I said, yeah.
It's
This is a big wrap around here from Secret.
Both teams.
Look at them. They're giving each other such a wide berth. They do see this courier and a smasher. That was close.
Yeah, that would be a huge play. If they could kill that.
You'd be so happy if you're able to get it. Now they know exactly where they are too, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, absolutely. It reveals. So they know that there's some wraparound and they can just camp a ward.
Big boy items here. Bloodthorn, Abyssal Blade. Team Liquid, they're ready.
Well, Secret's running into the high ground that Liquid is camping.
Also feel ready. They've sent out those Forge Spirits to get a little bit of information. They do have plenty of blinks too.
So this is a weird one because Liquid has the ward advantage, the vision advantage, but Secret's on the high ground. So they're also kind of cool.
And it's nighttime, and there's a Luna.
Yeah, yeah. So both teams are like, yeah, come at us. But no, Secret, they're playing it safer. They're going to their high ground vision. These late game fights, you always want to be around some ward that is on one of those cliffs. That is just the ideal game state. Now, obviously, you're going to play for the ideal game state in Dota. You don't just have to fight for any particular.
This is gonna be the big fight here. This Roche pit, and they do have to be careful because their lane's getting cut a little bit here over on the side of Liquid. How do they approach this fight is the question. McKay, though, pushing into the bottom lane, so everybody doing a little bit of ratting. Trying to bait a bit, trying to get each other into position so that way they can teleport forward. Sumail finding the opening immediately over on Foxy, but forces away. They realize that he is a lot of that lockdown in the way that he initiates.
Radiant's bottom barracks are under
This
attack.
space needs to be
They need to go home
by Secret.
They need, oh my god, look at the Cardies, look at the Forge Spirits. Yeah, they're teleporting in. This is the time now for Liquid to make a play. In fact, they're gonna jump over onto Nisha. They'll follow up. They already used the BKB. The roar comes out on top of it. The Hex, though, as they jump right onto the back lines, they're gonna be able to just rip apart Side. There it is. There's the Refresher. Zai chasing after Nisha. It's gonna keep chasing after him here. They throw out a Sunstrike, lands over onto Puppey, but Puppey's not really looking hurt at all. As they go forward. Again, they get the kill on Zai thanks to that Eclipse Eraser. Buying back in now as McKe and Mati are going to the back line. They want to take out Puppey. They'll be able to do it. Deafening Blast going in. More buybacks coming out from all of these supports as Mati's just chasing after Yapsor. He's gonna just be able to close the gap here pretty easily. No, but the base, they have to get home. They have to go deal with this.
Middle tower has fallen. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
BKB from Sumail. McKe backing off here, does the alacrity. Look at the base though.
This base
their
is
tower.
a real problem.
They gotta go with it. They're gonna end up losing Yapsor.
That's a dieback.
That is a dieback, and now Sumail Sonic Wave just trying to buy enough time here, but they need to just catch him. They can't seem to grab him fast enough here as he's just too fast. It's McKe walking into him. Tornado EMP to be able to fall, but the Silas, the Hex, everything. They'll take down Sumail. Sumail does have buyback. But Liquid is just running into their base now. You look at these creeps. Nisha is up. He's going to try to force them away, but they already lost an entire tower and half of the other one for their tier 4s. This is a disaster for the side of Secret.
Yeah, the base is the real problem there. And what surprises me a little, or a lot, I should say, is that Secret chose to go in.
Boxy finding himself the IO. They need to just destroy him fast enough, but they'll be able to take down Boxy first. Now M1CKe looking a little bit nervous. He pops his own BKB. It's just some time though, because they are taking Roche over near the pit. Not that, the Luna can do anything by itself, but nice as it does jump over the blink from M1CKe. Just a little bit too fast. Throws out the tornadoes, just gonna go and land over several of these. And now they'll get this building. Luna's gonna go run all the way back here.
All right, well, I said that the racks don't really matter at this point. They're mattering quite a lot, actually.
Yes, they are. Yepster's going to be up in about 8 seconds. They have buyback on sumail, but now they have Aegis on Matu. You've got Cheese on Zai. It's a decent amount of damage when you apply that break. Nisha already popping the BKB, though. Matu gets stunned up again. He does have the Aegis. Very, very tanky. He's got a Satanic on top of it, so he's going to be able to heal. Right now, Secret, holding, staunching the bleeding.
M1CKe has just been so annoying for this entire game, or at least the last like 10-15 minutes of this game, where he's just constantly shoving in the lanes and forcing Secret to respond to their base. All of this started way back at the Roche pit because Secret, they went in, but at the same time, Sumail was dealing with the base. There was a bit of a miscommunication there, and then that results in that whole fight where Secret has to buy back, Liquid buys back, all of a sudden you're being contested right in front of your base, and now Secret, they're just kind of locked in. Liquid has the Aegis, they have full control of the map, if they want it.
They're just trying to survive. You can see Puppey picking up the Aeon disc. That seems very, very necessary.
He's been so tanky, surprisingly tanky in these fights, and he knows that he is the primary focus target.
Absolutely. The Luna, I think, also picked up a... Yeah, she's got a refresher orb.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Getting Rapier next, which he actually has enough gold for it. And I would presume if you are buying a Rapier, you don't really care about buybacks, so it's just a question of like whether or not you want to 100% commit to it. Do you think the game state is bad enough that you have to commit to it?
I mean, if they're going to allow Nisha to continue to farm like this, it might as well, see how far you can get before you're forced to your hand, right?
Sure, yeah, I think that's probably what he's thinking, is that he's like, okay, maybe it's not dire straits, but I have enough. It is dire straits.
Bottom barracks has fallen.
Bonk. From Matu here. Look at the break applied again. It's Nisha continuing to clean out this creep wave, but Matu does so much damage on this bristleback.
Secret's doing a good job at not letting him get this. So, I mean, this hero has like 1,000 damage per hit, and he is not actually able to get any racks in the last like 10-15 minutes. So AC as well. He got that minus armor. So it's impressive that they're able to, keep him off the high ground. Nisha's always there, just poking at him, threatening with the break. It's like, if you want to go for this, you're going to have to trade your Aegis for it. And Liquid's not willing to do that just yet. They want to keep this Aegis advantage.
Nisha doesn't seem that all in. Well, I don't want to say that. He decided not to go for the Rapier, right? So he's trying to play a little bit more, I don't know if it's necessarily cautious.
Going for the Agi blink, yeah. Okay,
yeah.
Sure. You can blink out of the Razor static link. I don't think it instantly attacks you. You can blink and get the Wyvern. You can blink in and you can get the Nyx. Like, both of these heroes are backliners, fairly important to get.
Yapster's in the tree line here. Immediately smoke breaking. Follow up a good stun. They'll immediately start just poking away. So there is no line. Does have buyback though. Let's get back in the fight. And there's the break again coming out here from Nisha's eye though, following up with that plasma field. It's hard for them to get in here though. He is starting to get kited quite a bit. Another save here coming out from the Wyvern. Just gonna bring Matu back up to health, get out some of those Splinter Blasts. Matu's ready for round 2. Continues to throw out all that. Doesn't quite have those full 9 Warpaths. That's what he's working on. He's gonna just focus down over onto the buildings as Nisha again gets the break off. So he's gotta be very, very careful. Another heal coming into play. Sumail though jumping over onto the back lines. He's got the BKB up and running. They'll turn right back around and they'll pop the Aeon disc over onto Puppey. There's gonna be the Eclipse coming through. The Quick Step coming out over onto Nisha, but they'll be able to hold Sai and they get a finger kill off of it as Matu goes running after Yapsi though. Gets the kill on him. And they're looking for more. There's gonna be that refresher orb though coming out from Nisha. So much damage going over onto Matu. Matu not expecting it at all. With that bomb over onto the side. A big sonic wave coming up from Sumail. We'll clean up over onto Boxy as Matu is in very, very deep. Sumail's just chasing up the M1CKe. M1CKe turns back around. That does have that BKB throwing out. Can they take down the Queen of Pain? Yes, they can. But does have buyback as Matu is just being allowed to just run around their base this entire time. They end up losing Zai. They end up losing Boxy. But Liquid still feeling like they're very much in control. And Secret, they're struggling to find these answers.
And Sumail was being such a pain in the ass in that fight. He was doing such annoying backlining.
Say, oh, the Winter's Curse is not quite there here, my friend. The follow-up, though.
Oh, he cursed into the aesthetics cap, so it almost instantly ends. Although that seemed like it lasted a lot less than 40% status resistance. Am I crazy? I mean, I feel like that Winter's Curse was, maybe it didn't actually catch anything, and so it ended.
We can look here.
Okay.
It goes so quickly.
I mean, there's creeps there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now that's strange. He wasn't Eon Dist either? Did he curse the boar? Okay, I see. I see. That is rough. That makes sense.
These things happen.
Oh, my boy, Insania.
Matu is going to just teleport out. McKe, though, having to run for the hills. He's very, very fast. So at the follow-up here from Sumail, gets a scream. McKe running for his life, but does have the blink up if necessary. Could just zip on out here. Looks to be the case.
So Sumail in that fight, he was being really annoying, doing a great job, and when he blinks in and dies to the cold snap, his Stormcrafter was 1 second off cooldown. Otherwise, he could have.
God, look how much gold Nisha has.
He's getting a rapier.
There's no way you don't get it at this point, right?
Usually, when you get a rapier, you like to have a Daedalus as well with it on Luna, because then you can crit whenever you use your Q. You know.
I mean, if this game goes on long enough, we might just see that too.
I mean, he can afford it if he wants, especially because he has 2 items in his backpack he could just sell. Probably don't want to sell the refresher, but the Hurricane Pike, I do feel like you could sell that, because the way that you're playing is around playing from the outside and with your Q, right? So it's not so much that you're going to sit in there and right click, where you don't need the Hurricane Pike anymore, but we'll see what he sells, or if he does sell anything at all.
Yeah, the Monkey King Bar or Matu. Aeon Disc picked up now from Wyvern. We've really reached that point in the game where the supports are just like, please God.
Point. Yep.
I need to survive. I need to get my spells off. I need to keep everybody else alive. And that's literally, it's basically what both of these supports are doing, right? Puppy has to keep Nisha alive. He's got to be able to be that buff. And then the same thing going out with the Wyvern. Yes, you know, Winter's Curse is really nice. It makes them, you know, rethink all of their positioning. But it is so incredibly important that they are able to, you know, have that heal coming into play.
Yep. And it's important to note that at this point, we are certainly at the point where the Rex doesn't matter very much, if at all. And also, when you look at the 7K gold lead, or the 8K gold lead, literally all of that is in McKe's backpack right now. So 8K gold lead is not actually so significant at this point in the game. If it's early, yes, that's a big number. But at this point, the game is effectively even. It could go either way. What matters now is buybacks and 60-minute neutral items if we get there.
Oh, I do love me some 60-minute neutral items.
Yeah, that is like chaos incarnate. I'm here for it. Let's get some Apexes going. Mirror Shield would be really good in this game. Both teams have
it would be incredible.
A lot of targeted stuff. I feel like Zai is melting in all of these fights. And I don't know what he needs to protect from that, because he has the Shivas, so he should be physically very tanky. Refresher BKB.
All right, moment of truth here. Nisha has the rapier. They know Matu's been hunting over here. They've got those hawks. They've got the vision. They're dancing around. They're trying to see who else is in the area. How do you approach this fight, Secret? How do you ensure that you get this kill on Matu and you keep the rapier on your Luna?
And Liquid, they're just camping a high ground once again. Both of these teams so disciplined throughout the entirety of this game, just staying in their zone. They know that if Secret walks up that high ground, they have the advantage. So Secret's not doing it. Liquid's not budging either.
Okay, they'll reveal themselves over in the mid lane. Trying to bait, perhaps. Matu, not taking it, though, as they do have creeps pushing into their base again over on the side of Secret.
Yeah, in these stalemates, this is where the creeps definitely come in handy. The creeps in base. You do have an IO on the side of Team Secret, so there's always the relocate. However, I do think that it is getting to the point that Nisha probably wants to be in the fight already rather than relocating in. Very dangerous to take a Luna and just shove her in the fight somewhere, you know, that...
It's too easy to reset. It's too easy to, like, you know, see that it's telegraphed and then get prepared.
Yep, get out, or you prepare or surrounding the...
Yep, sir. The shot that starts the war, but, okay, Matu's already popped that BKB. He's hunting for Yapster over here. It is just a false start. They wanted to punish them for jumping over on their support, but Secret backing off again.
Both
Another
teams
Sacred
know.
Relic. Oh, they're getting ready for the second Rapier.
Okay, so he wants both buyback and rapier.
The Hex, though, over here on Ice. They just do so much damage. Okay, Io buys a little bit more time, drags him over to the side. Again, it just feels like the two of them are just so gun-shy to get into this fight without having extreme, some sort of advantage, right? Whether it's numbers, whether it's an item.
High ground, so, fighting on a ward, yeah,
Roshan.
something like that.
All right, there it is. There's the Roche. And he's laden with goodies.
All right, Roche definitely matters at this point. You know,
Yes, I would
it still matters.
agree,
There
yes.
does come a point where it does stop mattering, legit. Who is your Ags carrier on both sides if you get a Roshan? Let's see, not so good on
I think
these.
Invoker could be a good candidate, right?
The only thing is there's not that much to set up for the Cataclysm.
I mean, if
but
they're just standing there and fighting. They gotta get in that pit, though. They gotta get in there fast. The Sunstrike coming in. They know they're over there. Monty trying to get in the position. Pops BKB jumping in here from Monty. Good run. They're coming up from Ice. But again, they have those BKBs. The Sonic Wave, though, pushing back. A good save coming out. Again, as the Eclipse goes off, they'll be able to go and find Ice and they're taking out Monty to take down Matu. And they're gonna go right back in the buybacks. Puppy will get clicked down as they'll search for the opening finger over the backline. Over on to McKe. McKe using his BKB, but they still have their eyes over here on the loot. They'll pop the Aegis. So they're gonna go win again. Matu's here. They need to get that IO over to Nisha. Nisha going for the refresher, but they have the Abyssal Blade. They've got enough damage. Nisha, he falls. It's a 10 times kill streak taken down. He does have the buyback.
Oh.
As now they go in again. The Sonic Wave coming out.
He has buyback and another rapier.
Right in. Yes, he saved the other rapier from earlier. Now is Boxy going forward. Does have the My Carapace. There's gonna be Zai going right back in. They want to kill Puppy. Doesn't look like Puppy has any sort of options really left over here. As now Sumail gets hexed up. They have the damage. They'll take down Sumail. Nisha with the second rapier. Yes, he bought the component earlier, locked it in place because he wanted to go back in, but he didn't want to have that risk. Nisha, though, creeping around. He's insane, but he has the Aeon Disc. He's gonna go for the Eclipse now. Do they have any vision to jump back in from McKe? They have the Hex Zai going in, and then Mati just wails away. That's it. That's gotta be game. Good God, Team Secret making them work for it, but Team Liquid being so incredibly patient.
Victory.
It's hard to think that at the start of that game, Secret was pretty far ahead. Like they were snowballing quite hard, and you just hit this Ags timing from Liquid once again, just showing how confident they are in the timings of their draft, and the way that they play around those timings is also just amazing. They take the right engagements.